What's up, YouTube? Charmin here coming at you guys with a brand new Star Wars Battlefront video. And today is an epic day because it is March 22nd, 2016, which means the new Outer Rim DLC has officially launched for you Season Pass holders of Star Wars Battlefront. Now, if you do not have the Season Pass, then you will unfortunately have to wait till about April 5th, 2016, so you can go ahead and start playing for yourselves. It will, in fact, also cost you about $15 to buy the DLCs as a single. But again, if you have the Season Pass, you can start playing right now, but you will be spending $50 up front. Now, for you guys that are on the fence and unsure whether or not you guys want this DLC, then have no fear. Stay tuned to my channel because I'll be bringing you guys a lot of coverage on the Outer Rim over these next few weeks and days and whatnot, because Star Wars Battlefront is one of the main games for my channel. Now, today, I want to start talking about the patch notes, though. They've officially come out, and they affect everybody, so regardless or not you bought the DLC or you did not, these patch notes do infect the entire game, so keep that one in mind. Now, the March update gave us the new Survivors on Endor multiplayer map for the Walker Assault, Supremacy, and Turning Point, and we also got the Rebel Depot actual map to be transferred over to a survival mission for us, so we can go ahead and play that. But I knew that they were going to be coming out with new patch notes once this DLC dropped, and there is a lot of them and a lot to cover. So before we jump into this, I just want to stress that I'm going to be talking about the stuff that's going to affect your gameplay itself, not a lot of the little bug fixes and whatnot. So if you guys do want to go ahead and see the full official patch notes, I will be putting a link in my description box down below, so you guys can go ahead and check out the actual text version of it. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this, because there is a lot to cover, guys. Alright, so to start out with, they have a new feature that they're bringing to the game, and that is called HUT contracts. It's the new way of obtaining weapons and star cards, and it will be the future way of actually doing your weapons and star cards as we progress down the road with new paid-for and free DLC, so keep that one in mind. Now, on top of that, for the multiplayer, teams now have a new rebalancing system when transitioning between maps, where they actually will rebalance the teams based off your skill level and player size. Like if you have a team that's like, you know, a 10v5, expect that team to start getting moved over here for the next version here, for the next round, because they want to balance that out. The big thing to keep in mind too, your party can be split up, but your actual main person, that is your spawn partner, cannot split from you. So they're not going to move that person over to the other team for rebalancing. You're safe with your normal spawn partner, but your player, party, chat, stuff like that, you guys could possibly get split up as the game goes on for rebalancing. But it just makes it a little more even and fair, you know what I'm saying? So that works out as well. Another new feature they're bringing to the game is something called Team Play Focus. It's a feature in which the objective can be highlighted by each player to let their team know where they're heading. I.e., if you put your mark on an objective, you're saying that I'm going there to either capture or defend. It just puts a little number next to it, so everybody knows how many players are actually trying to actively work to capture that objective. Now, on Xbox, this will be your X button. On PlayStation, it will be your square button. And on PC, it will be your E key. So that way you guys can go ahead and just start marking objectives and letting everybody know where you're going to be going. On top of that, the actual ranks are going to be increased. The actual level cap has been increased from 50 to 60. So now you guys got some more droid run to play and some XP to gain. So this way you can go ahead and start getting those levels up. And on top of that, they didn't mention it in here, but there is a new Rebel skin, which is called the Weequay. Once you go ahead and get to level 60, you can go ahead and purchase that one as well. Now, one of the new interesting things that they're bringing to the game is kind of a throwback to the older Battlefront. They're actually going to be adding in the combat roll. The thing is, the combat roll is only going to be done from side to side, not front to back. And the way you go ahead and do that is you will always have to strafe, and then on Xbox you will double tap your B button, and then on PlayStation you will double tap the circle. And for PC, you will strafe and press your Alt key. Now, is this going to be something that's going to be utilized by a lot of players? I don't know. One of the cool things is you can actually shoot while doing it, but it is not really all that effective. But it is something cool that they brought in to just kind of make people happy, because I know they were wanting that combat rollback. Again, keep in mind, it is only side to side, not front to back. Now we're going to start getting on to the weapon and star card changes right here. The big ones, the ones that people want to know about. And off the top, we're going to be talking about the fact that they are bringing 2 new weapons for free to everybody, and these weapons are the DL-18 and the DL-19X, which can be obtained, once again, like I was talking about, via your HUT contracts. So the way that works is you will basically have to purchase your contract for the weapon or whatnot, and then you'll complete the objectives, and then once you've completed the objectives, then you can go ahead and actually claim your weapon. This also works that exact same way with HUT contracts with star cards, so keep that in mind. There is another 2 weapons that are actually going to be coming out. They have not put them in the patch notes, which is the Railby V10 rifle and the the DT-12 These weapons are exclusive to the season pass though, so keep that in mind. The other two that I mentioned, the DL-18 and the DL-19X, are free for everybody. There is also a new power-up that is on the field. It is called the T7 Ion Disruptor. It is a pretty powerful actual pickup. This can be used in every mode and whatnot, and it can actually kill multiple enemies once you've charged that thing up and let it fly, because it does a lot of damage. Now moving on to a bug fix that actually did affect your gameplay is where triggering a card right before death will no longer result in an effect not triggering and the card needing to be cooled down still. So that was kind of annoying. I used to hate that when you actually died while trying to fire off a star card. Then you basically just died and your star card was burnt up, but you never actually used it, and that really sucks. So they fixed that there, so no more stress from that aspect. And they've also actually went ahead and tweaked some of the actual star card wordings here, the actual trait cards I should say. The bodyguard, survivalist, and bounty hunter all have had their wordings changed. I wanted to mention this here to you guys because they haven't actually changed the way that they work. It is literally just the wording. So you might think when you look at it that, oh, my star card's been nerfed. No, it hasn't. It's just actually been tweaked with the wording. Now, the bounty hunter trait card, though, that one actually has been changed once again. So we're going to go ahead and get to that one right here. The actual bounty hunter trait card actually has they modified the actual drop chances and cooldowns. Level 1 is 25% for the drop chance, level 2 is 50% for your drop chance, and level 3 is 50% for your drop chance and 75% cooldown on each kill. So that's actually been changed right there for you guys. Now, one of the bigger changes coming to the game is the way your shields will work. And we're not talking about just your squad shields. We're also talking about personal shields and even the little shield on the blaster cannon. Now they will deflect and absorb most forms of projectiles, with exceptions being your cycler rifle, the scatter gun, and the proximity bomb. Now, when it comes to your personal shield, while it's active, the player is also unable to fire weapons and throw grenades, but he can still deploy turrets and call in heroes and vehicles, things of that nature. So keep that one in mind. You can still activate those power-ups, but you cannot actually throw grenades. This also actually goes when it comes to a player throwing grenades at you. Grenades will no longer penetrate that personal shield, guys, or even the squad shield. Keep that in mind. Do not throw grenades at shields no more, because you are in fact wasting them. Now, one of the things they did not put in here, but I did see during the actual stream that they had when they were talking with the developers and everything, the ion grenade, though, can in fact cancel a shield 100%. So if a player pops a personal shield, standing in a squad shield, and you have an ion grenade, throw that puppy at that shield and it'll just take it out completely. So that's one way to go ahead and start working around that one. Now we're going to start talking about the bowcaster right here. The bowcaster is starting to get a little bit tweaked once again, and the bowcaster is actually going to get its hold time reduced from 5 seconds to 3 seconds. So basically you'll be able to fire it off that much more faster. You won't have to hold it down to charge it up for longer. And on top of that, they actually fixed just a little exploit glitch where people could basically fire off the bowcaster, jump in the turret, and automatically cool it down. Now it's going to go ahead and actually properly cool it down. Now moving on, we're going to talk about Barrage. Barrage is actually going to get a little bit of a buff. I know it's been a long time coming. They kind of nerfed the heck out of it when the game first came out, but in fact they are going to be buffing it a little bit right here, and where Barrage's actual fuse timer is going to be changed from 2 to 2.5 seconds to a reduced 1 to 1.5 seconds. So now it's going to detonate a lot sooner. On top of that, the actual barrage inner explosive radius is going to be decreased from 3 to 2 meters. So there's going to be a little bit of a buff, but it's going to be a little bit of a nerf at the same time. So keep that one in mind, but it is probably worth going ahead and checking it out. The impact grenade is also going to be affected here in this patch. The impact grenade actual damage is going to be increased from 90 to 100, and the explosive radius is going to be decreased from 2.25 to 2 meters. Now moving on to a couple other grenades right here. The ion grenade no longer deals collision damage, but once again, like I told you guys, I know it's not in the patch notes, do use it against personal shields because it will basically just annihilate the shields and leave them vulnerable. Now flash grenades also have added a screenshot component to give it a little bit of an extra disorientation effect. So that's kind of neat because, you know, me, when it comes to flash grenades personally, I just never really found them all that effective, so it's kind of worth maybe going ahead and checking them out again. The scan pulse is also going to get affected, where the cooldown time is going to be increased from 10 to 18 seconds for a normal white star card and 8 to 16 seconds for an upgraded star card. So basically they are going to be nerfing that scan pulse there, guys. Now the DL-44, one of the big things, I know a lot of people always love that DL-44. There is some new weapons out there, so you might want to go ahead and try some of these, but that DL-44 is going to get a nerf, and I'm talking about a pretty decent nerf in my opinion. The damage decrease is going to go from 19 to 13 at a radius greater than 40 meters. This weapon is now going to basically have a damage drop off that is going to be severe. So it is literally going to be a weapon that you are going to want to use for pretty much close quarters in my personal opinion. Now we go ahead and start talking about some power-ups here. The deployed droids and turrets will now self-destruct after 20 seconds when the owner is defeated, so no more hanging around turrets there, guys. And the blaster cannon's getting a couple more little tweaks right here where, let's see, kills will now count towards your trait card leveling, and they will no longer take splash damage from its own shots, which is an awesome thing because that always sucks just to die by your own weapon there. Also, the E-web now, it says players can now correctly take damage when right against the barrel of the gun, because apparently you basically could just kind of run up on them and they really wouldn't actually get hurt. So that's a nice little change that they brought into there. Now the Viper probe droid and the R5D4 droid has got a new spawn protection, which will be decreased basically from 2 to 0.5. So with this spawn protection, if you guys never really realized it, when they actually first dropped those droids, they were protected for about 2 seconds, and now they're not going to be protected. Like basically, like I said, a half a second is all they're going to get for protection, so you can start blowing them things up a lot quicker. The R5D4 droid also now shows the correct health bar for both teams, because that was always annoying, whether wanting to know if you were getting ready to kill it or not, and it just basically wasn't working right. The jump pack is going to get a little bit of a buff right here. The cooldown is actually going to be lowered from 25 to 22 for a normal white star card, and from 20 to 17 for an upgraded star card. So expect to find some players bouncing around for some, experiencing all that new verticality to this game. Now, moving on to some of these vehicle changes right here. The actual T-47 airspeeder during Walker Assault is no longer possible to switch tow cable targets during the actual tow cable event. I didn't really know that you can actually do that, but yeah, that'd be kind of annoying, and I think it's a little exploit that definitely needed to be switched as well. The speeder bikes no longer also take damage when outside of the edge of the orbital boundary, which is a good change. And ATSTs no longer take damage from fire, and they changed the max pitch on the grenade launcher for the ATST as well. Now, the Millennium Falcon and the Slave One are now immediately destroyed when crashing into the ground while in first-person view, which basically was an exploit that they kind of went ahead and fixed. And there is going to also be a patch that I'll be mentioning here a little bit sooner that is going to affect how the collisions work with each other. But for now, we'll save that for the multiplayer and game mode changes section, which we're getting ready to get into actually right now. Now, first off, they're actually going to be bringing some spawning improvements across various maps and mode combinations. On top of that, Princess Leia's Honor Guard and Emperor Palpatine's Shock Troopers are now limited to only 2 spawns during Heroes vs. Villains and Extraction game mode. So this way you can't basically just hide Princess Leia or Emperor Palpatine and keep spawning in Shock Troopers or Honor Guards, because that can get kind of annoying. Also, players no longer instantly die during vehicle deployment after taking damage that would have killed them prior to the transition. And that, my friends, brings us to Fighter Squadron, the thing everybody wants to kind of know about when it comes to those hero ships. First off, games will no longer end in a draw when a player that crashed into the ground would have been awarded the winning points. And the big one here, vehicles of equal size will now both be destroyed when colliding, regardless if one of the vehicles is shielded. So that means no more exploiting on Slave One with the Millennium Falcon, because if you do that, you in fact will be dying yourself. So keep that one there in mind. It was about time that they brought that change. It was really actually needed. Now, Hero Hunt is going to get a brand new revamp, actually, where they're actually going to be now giving a chance for the top 3 damage dealers to become the hero, opposed to the person who just gets that final little kill shot. They're going to be doing this with a spin wheel, and I will be bringing you guys more information on this here in the next days here. I'll actually be showing you how that actually works in its own video in itself. Blast also has actually changed up here. They've actually brought the sulfur fields back in that rotation, and Drop Zone has actually have an alter player count now from 16 to 12. So keep that one in mind. You're actually not going to have as many players there. Now, mission changes, they actually had a little bit of things here. They, they were just little tweaks and whatnot, but you guys can go ahead and check out the patch notes for yourself on that. I'm not really going to cover those because we want to start getting into the hero changes. Now, starting off, they actually fixed some inconsistencies with blocking blaster fire between active and passive blocking for Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader, and Emperor Palpatine. So I'm guessing they're basically going to make it to where they can block a little bit more effectively. On top of that, it says when blocking blaster fire modified with explosive shot and ion shot, Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader now deflect and reflect the explosive shots and the ion shots back. So they used to basically, if you were using that explosive shot and you were trying to actually shoot at Darth Vader, the bolt would turn back into a standard shot, but now expect to get busted up if you're using that explosive shot, because he's going to reflect the actual explosive shot with the explosive shot damage right back on top of you if he blocks it. Also, heroes could no longer fire their weapons when they're meleeing, which is kind of a little exploit, and that's a good thing that they went ahead and fixed that, because when you're meleeing, you're truly not really aiming, so kind of firing the weapon is kind of a little cheap little tactic there. Now, moving on, Darth Vader's actually going to go ahead and get some buffs. He's actually getting quite a bit of buffs. People felt that he was not tanky enough, and he was designed to be a tank, so they're actually making some changes there, where Darth Vader's health is going to be increased from 1500 to 1650. Also, the blockability time has been increased for him, where he can reflect the bolts back from 4 seconds to 8 seconds. Now, Luke's time is still going to be 4 seconds for his blockability, but Darth Vader can now hold down that block a lot longer for an entire 8 seconds, in fact. On top of that, they've decreased the cooldown for the lightsaber throw from 7 to 6 seconds, and they've increased the actual distance he can throw the lightsaber by 3 meters. So they're basically making Darth Vader a lot more scary because of the fact that he moves a lot slower as well. Now, Luke Skywalker is going to get some nerfs here. They're actually decreasing his health from 1,000 to 925. They're also going to be decreasing his movement speed. They didn't give an exact number. I do know that Luke Skywalker moved, I think it was 20% faster than all the other heroes, so they're going to be reducing his speed, but he will still be the fastest hero nonetheless. Now, Boba Fett is also going to get a little bit of tweaks here. They're actually going to increase the range in which his blaster damage starts to drop off from 30 to 45, and they've increased the range where his blaster damage is at the low end from 60 to 75. So they've made some changes right here, guys. So there's a lot of new things that are actually coming here. You can see that the patch notes there are so massive, and again, like I told you, I was not able to cover every little thing because there's a lot of different bug fixes and whatnot. But if you guys once again want to see all those bug fixes, you guys want to actually go through the text version, once again, there is a link down in my description box below, so you guys can go ahead and do that. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and please let me know what you guys think about these changes. What changes that you like to see, what changes do you think they should have never made, and what changes do you want to see here in the future? Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope it helps you out. And if it does, please feel free to go ahead and slap that like button down below, and don't forget to subscribe to join the Charmin today. And you guys are more than welcome to go ahead and comment below and follow me on my Twitter to stay up to date with one of my YouTube videos. I'm Charmin and as always, thanks for watching, and y'all come back now, you hear?